Good morning, guys. MWUSA Season 5, Episode 32. It is Saturday morning, and I had to go to the Honda dealership today because I was having some issues with my car with the screen, and they determined that it's probably an electrical problem and they need to keep the car. So it's right around the 30-day anniversary of when I bought the car, and it's got over 9,950 miles on it, and they made the mistake of giving me a rental car that has 745 miles on it. So good luck to them on that. I think that's positive EV for me. So like I said, it's Saturday morning right now, heading back toward home. Gonna try to do some online stuff today. Gonna be working at home today as well. Hang out with the family, take care of odds and ends, pay bills, things like that, and we'll go from there. But I just thought it was a little bit funny, and I'd share it with you. So, all right, I'll be back. All right, guys, I am back. It is Sunday afternoon, early afternoon, and we're leaving a little bit earlier than normal because we have a longer trip today, and we have some bigger goals today. So we'll see what happens. Today is Super Bowl Sunday, and I don't have anything riding on the Super Bowl. Didn't take the time to do any of that research or worry about it. We're just going to have it be just a plain old Sunday, making money on slots, making money on blackjack, and some other things too. I did make a little bit of money yesterday online, made about $280 online, so that was good. I think there should be some opportunities today in the state that I'm going to as well. So I can't do it from my state, but the place I'm going to, I should be able to. Right now, we're going to head out of our way about 45 minutes each direction because I want to stop at a certain place just to see what's going on, see if I can make a little bit of money there. And then we'll have a very, very long journey, about 4.5 hours to our first stop after that. So it'll be a long one. I'm driving the rental car that I got yesterday. Only had I think 750 miles on it when I got it. So let's see if we can pile the miles on since it's not our car. And I may even try to go into some casinos that I normally would not be welcome in. Just because I have someone else's car, someone else's license plate, and we'll see what we can do. So anyway, that's what's going on right now. You're all caught up. Actually, let me just mention real quick here. This is just a different version of the same car that I bought. This is a lower version, so it doesn't have all the bells and whistles. But it drives kind of, I don't know, kind of stiff. It's not as easily maneuverable. But it should be okay. Today it's 26 degrees outside. Feels like it's 26 also. It's going to go down to 5 degrees tonight, so it should be a pretty chilly night. I expect to be home by like 3 or 4 in the morning. So that'll give me like 14, 15 hours to do whatever I can. I expect at least, 10 hours of drive time. So I'll have 4 or 5 hours of playtime. That's all we should need. So anyway, that's what's going on right now. You're all caught up, and I'll be back to update you soon. All right, guys, I am back. And went in there. Actually, it feels so warm now. I went in there looking around. My stomach was just rumbling and just killing me when I went in there. I don't know what the deal was. I walk in, I look at a few things, I go through the high limit area, I see a friend of mine there, and my stomach is just killing me. So I didn't even say hi, I went straight to the bathroom, came back out, looked around, found absolutely nothing, and then I saw him playing a machine, talked to him for a minute, and eventually played one machine, and ended up leaving ahead $63. So plus 63 there covers most of the gas for the day, so that's something at least. But I talked to him, and he claims that Super Bowl Sunday there's hardly anyone ever around. So we'll see how that goes. We'll see what that means for the machines and stuff. We'll see if there's going to be other advantage players or not, because if everyone's watching the game, maybe I have the place to myself. I have no idea. But right now, we are just moving on to our next stop, which is over 4 hours away. So the sun is out, it's warming up, it's 30 degrees outside now. So it should be a good journey. I won't get there till after the Super Bowl has already been going for about a quarter. So it's going to be a long drive. I'm just going to take my time, not worry about it, and figure out, just some ideas about what I'm going to do today. I've had a lot of thoughts lately about different games and how to approach them differently, and then even the same casinos that I visit, about what time to go and all the little details that I don't talk about on here, what time to go, whose table to go to, which pit bosses to avoid, all that kind of stuff. So all that stuff is on my mind right now. So got almost a full tank of gas, so we should be okay to get all the way to our next stop, and on our way to the stop after that, before we should have to get fuel. So that's what's going on right now, and I'll be back to update you soon. Alright guys, I am back, and I was in there for almost 3 hours. It flew by actually, because I was busy going from place to place, checking machines, checking tables, all this stuff back and forth. And actually got one session of blackjack in, got a bunch of slot action in. Most of the slot stuff was like, it paid terribly. I mean, it was just good plays though, and that's why I made money on it. But overall, had bad variance overall. Blackjack ended up playing a short time, like half an hour or so. On a table, they did not know who I was. In fact, I'll just double check that right now. And medium spread, everything seemed to go okay. Pulling it up right now in case I'm wrong. Yeah, they didn't know who I was. They didn't put me in the system. Ended that session ahead exactly $500 Renos. And also played slots. And actually I was ahead something like 503 or something like that. And then on the way out, I lost like almost 200 on a machine. So I went back in, kept looking around, and found some other plays. And I actually ended up getting it back and leaving ahead 560 on the machines. So 560 on slots, 500 on blackjack. Saw a lot of people in there that I normally wouldn't see. Saw a lot of people checking. Saw a lot of Asians that usually this area doesn't have Asians. A lot of Asian people, almost all, I'd say 50-50 men, checking machines. Super Bowl is going on. It's about halftime right now. And overall, not very busy in the casino. So, there were a lot of tables open, not a lot of opportunity. Most of the shoes were halfway through, lots of 6 to 5 tables. The good tables all had a lot of people, so it kind of makes me think that people kind of have a clue about what's good and what's not good in blackjack, but who's to say. Other than that, looked for other stuff, some poker stuff, and made a couple bucks on that, on a game that I don't know very well. So looked at a lot of different things, but overall pretty basic. The things that actually worked out, got a couple crazy pictures of slots that paid very badly, but still ended up pretty good. So right now we're going to move on to another place, most likely play slots, but I'm not positive, and I'll come back and update you soon. Alright guys, I am back. Just leaving this place, and it wasn't good. I was pretty much down the whole time that I was in there. Never really had a chance. Got within a couple $100, and just couldn't get there. By the time I finished up play, I was down $1,673. So wipes out the whole day's winnings and a little bit more. So that was all slot play as well. So very bad. And I'm not one to take huge risks normally on slots, but yeah, here we go. So we're going to go ahead and move on to another spot and see if we can get back to even for the day. Maybe a little bit ahead. Normally I'd love to make $1,000 and go home, and I was up 1,000 and wasn't able to leave. So, man, I don't know. Don't know what to say. So at this point, I think the Super Bowl is probably over at this point. I don't even know. I saw Seahawks were up 9-0 last I saw, so I don't know what happened after that, but feeling pretty miserable right now. Heading on to another place, and I'll be back. All right, guys. Let's just say many hours later. It is many hours later. And it's after midnight, and I'm still here. And got a long way to go to get home. I go into this casino and play some slots, looking for blackjack, not finding it, play some more slots, blah, 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 slots, and the game was just finishing up, and wow, what a crazy end to that game. I used to go to Vegas. I've been to Vegas at least twice for a Super Bowl, but lately, it's not the same. I mean, you can get a lot of cover playing on the Super Bowl because once the game is over, there's a lot of people that won money, a lot of people that have a lot of money that came out from the Super Bowl, and you can get a lot of cover because of that. So you can bet a little bit bigger, especially at the higher end casinos without too many issues. I remember one year, I don't know what year it was, Pittsburgh and somebody, as soon as the game was over, everybody was cashing their tickets and immediately on the blackjack tables. So it was pretty crowded. I remember that. That was a huge theater that we were in. I forget if it was the Mirage or somewhere else for that one, but it was like hundreds of feet long for this viewing area. Sorry, I am trying to find my charger. Shoot. Okay, well, I'll deal with that later. Anyway, so after playing slots for over an hour, I was ahead $4 on slots. Went and played blackjack and was immediately down $1,400. Ended up switching tables, was down as much as $2,200, and just clawing my way back. It was a very frustrating experience. Pit bosses that I didn't like, that were rude, dealers that were in a bad mood, dealers trying to beg for money as always. I think I lost my magnet for my phone. Dang it. Oh well, it's got to be here somewhere. And it was just very frustrating that I'm down, and they know I'm down, and they're still begging you for tips, and it's not going to happen, pal. I don't really care. I ended up making a comeback and leaving the table barely ahead, plus $68. And I'm not giving you the 68, I'm not giving you the 8, I'm not giving you the 3, I'm not giving you anything. So ended that ahead 68, went back to some slots and was down a whole lot again, like 1,200 on the slots, and clawed my way back, and there's not a lot of plays in there, and I'll tell you about it a little bit. And I ended up ahead $4 again for a total of $8. And then I was leaving, and I was actually happy I was up that much because I had a $600 win to get me up to that. And I was getting ready to leave, and I hear a faint voice, Joe, hey, Joe, turn around, and this old man, nice guy, good guy, doesn't fully understand what we do, but he knows enough, and he's got a lot of money, so he plays all the big plays. And sometimes they're a little bit out of range, and he plays them. And he likes to use his card, and doesn't like to listen that you shouldn't use your card. And at one point, at the end of the year, his host called him and said, "Look, I care about you and what's going on with you and everything, so I just want to tell you, if you don't want to be kicked out of here, you should not use your card every day." And he talked to him a little bit, explained a little bit about how things work, that you don't want to show that you're in here every day, all day, day and night, and that you're making a profit that doesn't make a lot of sense, and they're going to kick you out. So he uses his card less, but now there's another guy that's arguing with some other people because he wants to use his card all the time for every play, and the other guys don't want him to. And there's a big controversy there. But what's similar between both of these guys and their card use and all that kind of stuff is that they're new to what we do. And because of that, they don't understand the kind of heat that you can get. They don't fully understand what can happen. Sorry, I'm reaching under my seat. I think I found it. It's under my seat. But they don't understand how bad things can get and how you can put yourself in a situation where you're banned from your local casino over slot machines. It's not really worth it. So you're better off not using your card unless you've got some other thing in mind where you're being smart about it. I don't want to give stuff away, but so if you're being smart about it, there are some things that you can do with your card to make a profit and not show that you play games that are beatable games. And by doing it the smart way, that way, you can last a very long time. So anyway, so he calls me over and he's like, there's a play over here, and he puts his mask on. I've never seen him with a mask on, and he puts a mask on when he's talking to me, and I'm like, I can barely understand because you got a thick accent as it is, and now you put your mask on and it's loud, and you know everything going on around us, the music, the people. So anyway, he told me about the play, and I said, yeah, it's not really my kind of play. I normally wouldn't play it. And he's like, no, believe me, it's going to be good. I'm like, I don't know. Okay, well, I'll do it. How much is it? He said $10 a spin. I said, okay, I'm in for $5. So we wait around and wait around. He said the guy was at the machine for an hour and a half. He waited an hour and a half. And this is important for later on when I explain this story. So an hour and a half he waited to get on this machine. Finally, the guy gets up. And we look at it, it's still there. To me, it's borderline to barely outside of borderline. But I agreed to it. And he goes, okay, how are we going to do taxes? And I'm like, what are you talking about? You know, if there's a kind of tax that we absolutely have to pay, this guy doesn't pay taxes, he shows a loss. There's taxes that we absolutely have to pay by state law or something, I'll do it. This is not my state. I don't know all the rules. He said, no state taxes. He said, just federal. I said, what are you talking about, federal? He's like, well, you know the new law, you have to pay tax on 10% of your wins. Okay, so you guys understand the story, right? With a big, beautiful bill, there's a small thing that was added by someone's aide or not scribe, what do they call them? You know, the helpers. I want to say scribe. It's not scribe. It's starts with an S though. You know what it is. Anyway, so somebody's person added like a one-line thing in there that says you can only deduct 90% of your losses. So everyone's like, oh, if you break even, you're gonna have to pay tax on 10%. Well, yeah, except if you lost more than that. If you lost 110% of what you earned, you can deduct 90% of that and you'll be around even or maybe pay less than 1%. What if you lost 112%? Now you're paying zero. So I said, well, okay, well, whatever. What do you want to do? And he said, well, 10% goes to taxes. I said, okay, whatever. 10% goes to taxes. So $10 a spin. We decided 10% is going to go to taxes, which is not even right anyway. Next time I got to explain it to him, because you're not paying a tax of 10%. You're paying your federal tax on 10% of your earnings. So let's make easy numbers. 20% federal tax on 10% of earnings would be 2%. But at this point, I just wanted it to be over. So he said, okay, let's each put 300 in. I gave him 300. He put in 300. We got 600 in there. He hits the button. First spin, it hits and pays like garbage, and it's over. Paid 130, 140. So we each got half of 130, which is 65. So after him waiting for an hour and a half and waiting with me and explaining all this stuff to me and insisting on 10% going for taxes and all this stuff, we hit it on the first spin and it paid only 140, which means we each made $65. $65 profit for me, plus the other four that I made off the slots is $73. So I made 68 on the table, 73 on the slots, but we still ended up down for the day. So could have left 4 hours ago and been up 1,000 for the day, 1,100 for the day. But no, we decided to keep on going, and now it's going to be, I don't know. I'm going to get home about an hour before the sun starts to rise over the horizon there. So, yeah, very long day, very frustrating. But right now, just getting on the road, and I'll come back and talk to you here in a little bit. All right, guys, almost 3 a.m. right now. Still continuing my trip home, and got some news a little bit ago. When I was on my way out to these casinos, a friend of mine, actually, you'll recall I met him in the Denver area. He sent me a text message about a slot and whether or not I wanted to take a third of the action on the slot. So this is a high denomination slot. It's an uncapped progressive, which means that it can go on forever, but generally there's it only goes to a certain range. The odds of hitting it are X, and as long as the progressive is above a certain number, then it's worthwhile. So he sent me a picture, and I sent it to a friend of mine, and he said it's just a little bit low. And so I said I think it's a little bit low, and I was a little uncomfortable about it. Well, about 7 hours later, he still hadn't played it, and he set up a group chat, and I ended up taking 1/6 of the action on it. So overall, I guess it took, let me see how long, because they sat down to play. Okay, let me see, what time was this? 1:30, and just finished up. Okay, it took about a half hour to play it all the way through. It was $45 a spin. So, you can imagine how fast it can get expensive. So I had about $7.50 a spin on it, and he said, okay, we put in the first 1,000. We doubled it up. We got 2,000. Okay, now we lost that back and lost 1,000. Put in a second 1,000. Lost that. Put in a third 1,000. Lost that. Put in a fourth 1,000. And then he sent a picture. Looks like we were down to like 16 $132 when we hit it, and it paid like 4,100 and change. So we ended up, however it ended up happening, we ended up ahead $760 for the group. So 760 divided by 6, I get like 126 or $127. So that's a nice little thing that came out of that. But the good news was that in the meantime, in those 7 hours, people had played it and brought it up to a lot better range to where it was worthwhile. So by the time we actually played it, it looked like it was positive EV. Now, the reason that they were playing it was not just because they wanted to win. Obviously, everybody always wants to win. That's never, no one's ever going to say no to winning. But there was a promotion where you get 8 times multiplier on points, and they were going to 8 different casinos to play that. So we had a total bankroll of $7,500 for the play. Looks like we were only down 2,400 or so when it hit, I guess. I'm not really positive by looking at the pictures here, but however it turned out, we were ahead 760, so that helps a little bit. I gotta say, right now there's no cars in front of me, no cars behind me. Long, quiet road. The moon over here. Man, did it really change that fast? I mean, it seems like it was only yesterday that it was a full moon. Looks like about less than a half moon right now. We can do some segments here. What did you eat today, MW? Today I had some chicken breast. I had some tuna salad, and I had some yogurt this evening, and some bean salad also. So overall, I mean, nothing that's like too major of a thing, but it was all pretty decent for my diet. I did eat some stuff that obviously wouldn't be on my diet. I can't say officially that I'm back on my diet because I've been pretty lax about it, but I've kept my weight around where it was after Christmas, which is not great, but it's still pretty flat, which is good. And what did you tip today, MW? Well, I had a blackjack session where I won a quick 500. Then I had another one where I lost a bunch of money, and another one where I made it back and was barely ahead. And a bunch of crazy slot sessions. So adding all that together, I ended up tipping $0. And what did you learn today, MW? I don't know. I guess the lesson of the day today, maybe I'm really running out of games to play and things to do. So I'm definitely going to have to really kick it into gear and travel a lot more and do a lot more other things to make up for the shortfall, because it's been awful. And then I had those big losses and stuff too, and that's just, it's been a killer. On the other side here, I mentioned, okay, wait a minute here. So they just said that they tipped $40. So $40. Let's see. I gotta update my thing here. 40 divided by 6 is what? $6.67. So I tipped $6.67 today. And I was gonna say about silver. One of the reasons that silver crashed so much too. Turns out that there was a wealthy person in China who did a gigantic short, like 300 million units, or $300 million maybe, And you know, the way a short works is basically you borrow the shares and you sell them, and then you have to return the shares. So let's say a stock is at $10. You buy the shares and sell them, so now you have $10 cash, but you owe someone that share back eventually. Drops down to $3. You buy it back at $3, and you return the share, and you made a profit of $7. So that is shorting a stock. Well, he shorted $300 million, and it completely dropped the market. I think that was the one from last week. But now this guy is stuck with $300 million worth of shorts. And he may have dropped the price from the mid-80s to 61, but now he's got to cover those shorts. He's got to return that. So he's betting that silver is going to continue to crash in price, but silver's already almost recovered completely. In fact, as of right now, it's already 82 and change. So it's almost back to where it was before, and he's got these shorts he has to cover. So this could create a short squeeze, kind of like what happened with GameStop stock and things like that, where people said, okay, these people that we don't like, these big companies, have a huge short position. Let's buy up all the shares so that they can't close their short position, and let's drive the price up and up and up and up. And in order for them to close the shorts, they're going to have to buy it. And it drove the stock from a couple dollars to over $300. So that this event being publicized could trigger some kind of a short squeeze. Even though we're talking about trillions of dollars, it's not as much money as you think it is. So it's really not that big of a market. So we'll see what happens with that. But I really feel like the end has not come yet to the rise, and it will continue to rise, and it will have new highs soon. But you never know, because you don't know how much these banks are going to continue to manipulate. Now, J.P. Morgan did turn a lot of their shorts into longs now, and they do have a huge store of silver, like 575 million ounces or something. So, yeah, it's gonna be interesting going forward here. If they end up not suppressing the price anymore, what's going to happen? And J.D. Vance's speech mentioned that they're going to be doing a floor for the prices of precious metals and other required minerals. So, for example, if they put a floor in at $80 and China tried to dump cheap silver on our market for $10, the difference, the $70 difference, would be a tariff. So essentially it would be $80 anyway, and China would not be manipulating the market, because no matter how cheap they sell it, it's going to be that minimum price. So I think that'll help stabilize things, and maybe a lot of these short holders will cover their shorts, and it'll help push the price up. So anyway, all right. We're going to continue on home. Probably going to be another hour or so before we get home. So just going to take our time and be safe. The roads are in good condition. Temperature outside is very cold. You know, we had decent temperatures on the way out, but right now it's 6 degrees. Feels like -4. So pretty chilly out there. So anyway, for now I'm going to let you go. I'll catch up with you tomorrow, which is Monday. If you have any questions or comments, my email is mwusa21@gmail.com, mwusa21@gmail.com. See you next time.